William Hartnell has died in hospital near his home in Kent. He was 67, and he'd been unwell for some time. Mr. Hartnell appeared in many films, often as a tough NCO, and later played the Sergeant Major in television's The Army Game. But it was as the original Doctor Who in the BBC television serial that he became known to millions of children, a role he loved.
Yes, I think I can say that I know just exactly where we are.
Past, present, or future?
In the future. Very much in the future. We've now reached the distant horizon of an age of peace and prosperity. Now, I'm going to be off.
Now, a sad note, William Hartnell, the actor who was the original Doctor Who and who starred in the ITV series The Army Game, died in hospital at his home near Kent today. He was 67 and starred in a whole range of films from Yankee Incident to Brighton Rock. Christy Goff reports.
It's 8 years since William Hartnell made his last television appearance as the legendary Doctor Who, but right up until his death, he was receiving fan letters. And on the mantelpiece of his home at Marden near Maidstone, there's a wedding invitation from the devoted fans who's inviting Susan and she with themselves. Since then, there's been 3 Doctor Whos, including John Pertwee, seen here with his Who-mobile. But though others earned their share of adulation, to those early devotees, there was no one quite like the original. The tragedy, revealed only today by his widow, former actress Heather McIntyre, was Bill's reason for relinquishing the role in 1966. The simple fact was that he was losing his memory and couldn't remember his lines, but he wasn't aware of that fact at the time. It was put down to the exhaustion of playing a star role for 3 years in a row. But this was the onset of what was to be his last illness. He struggled vainly on in other roles for 18 months, but the same problem persisted. And then he began to lose the use of one leg. At Christmas, he had a stroke and went into hospital, where he died last night. Bill Hartnell was best known to ITV viewers as Sergeant Major Bully Moore of The Army Game. But he really entered The Army Game in a serious sense with the wartime classic The Way Ahead, a film which was recently reshown on television. He played opposite David Niven as a regular Army sergeant, and he was so convincing, many people still believe he was really a professional soldier who just happened to be recruited for the film. In fact, he served only briefly in the Army and was invalided out in the early part of the war. The Way Ahead, since used as an Army training film, was premiered on D-Day, and all the top brass who planned to be there were away for that very reason. Now, Bill Hartnell was absent too because he had scarlet fever, but his performance was highly praised. His final reluctant role as an invalid wasn't one that he had chosen, but as his widow told us today, he kept his chin up to the last and died a happy man.
Sad story of the slowly decline and final death of Bill Hartnell, and let's send our sympathy, shall we, forward to his widow.